Hi, welcome back to the Talking Tavern. I'm Ben, and I am rejoined by Devin Night, the token maestro of Fantasy Grounds and Roll20 fame. Welcome back, Devin.
Hey, thank you, Ben. Thanks.
Good to have you back. You mentioned before about that the limits with the tokens are probably if tokens get replaced by something else. I'm not sure if you were perhaps referring to the idea on the horizon of maybe VR. Online tabletops. Is that something that's in the back of your mind, or do you think that will never happen, or is 20 years off?
It'll happen, but I think there will always be people who will never get to wanting to do that. I think there's always going to be a group of people who always just want to, make it as close to the tabletop as they can without all the hassle of the 3D stuff going on. And I think my stuff is just a step above sitting at a table. Virtual tabletops are just, right now they're in a nice, happy place with old school players who are used to the map and, figures. And I think the younger generation, from the video game perspective, are probably looking for more of the video game aspect of it and want more 3D immersiveness. But I think, at least for, at least the next 20 or 30 years, I think I'll always have groups of people that are always going to want to do it this way that's doing it right now.
Yeah. You mentioned games. Are you a gamer yourself, or have you not got enough time?
I make time. I'm a Xbox gamer, tabletop gamer. I love board games. I collect way too many board games. All kinds of games. Even just going to those escape rooms, which have become popular. I love doing that. I'm not smart quickly. I'm a smarter person in a slow way. But if it's a game, I will definitely always try playing anything because that's what they're there for, So I just love interacting with people that way.
You've mentioned your father. Is there a time in the future that you'd maybe introduce your kids to either these board games or something like D&D?
Yeah. I love my girls. They're beautiful. They aren't as excited by board games as me, which is too bad. They are both artistic, so I have tried to slowly bring them into the token making business, kind of like a sweatshop. Usually, I won't feed them unless they help me out. Yeah, they have their own interests, and they're awesome. I love them. They're not as excited about this stuff as I am, but I think there may be a time when I think my youngest daughter may actually want to be a dungeon master at some point, so that would be awesome.
Yeah, and tastes change as you get older as well, so
yeah,
there's always hope.
Yeah.
There's obviously a bit of a token maker community from what I hear on Roll20. In touch with any of these? Do you see them as your competition, or are they just allies in a goal to kind of provide tokens and value?
Right. Yeah, we actually have a private channel for a bunch of the artists from Roll20 and stuff, and they're all great. My first reaction when I see new work is I want to hate it, and I want to hate the person making stuff that's in mine or different from mine. But the fact is, there's enough to go around, and these people some of them are doing amazing stuff, which is stuff I can't do or wouldn't think of doing and stuff. So it's exciting. It's actually really great. I had my friend Steve come over yesterday and just hang out. He was doing sketches. I was doing I was actually prepping for a D&D game, but it's nice to hang out with other artists, and I usually spend 90% of my time alone, and I don't get feedback directly from other artists, and I don't talk to other artists, and sometimes it's a bit lonely, but it's great talking to them because they have ideas and stuff what they're doing, and sometimes I can learn from them and they can learn from me. It's pretty cool.
Is there ever a point where you have a pack that's in your mind and you're about to do it, and then you see someone release the kind of the same items or monsters that you're going to do in that pack and think, damn?
Yeah, that doesn't happen a lot. Most of the time, because of the way I work, people are asking me to create things. There's things I've wanted to do where I've decided I didn't have to because somebody else already did it. So I'm always looking to do stuff that hasn't been done, if at all possible. I always honestly, I don't even shop around that much. I don't try to see too much of what other people are doing. I kind of have my own agenda. I got Tome Beasts for the next year. I've got individual, custom things that I'm making, and when those are done, if they all come together, I'll release those. Like I'm doing a big pack for the Norse gods, and as far as I know, nobody's done the Norse gods at all. And this is going to be a huge Viking pack with all the Norse gods, and I'm like, that's a kind of a safe one because I don't think anybody else has touched on that.
And you've pretty much stuck to characters and items, props, and so on. You've not made any kind of map packs or anything like that. Is that not your field, or?
It's not the thing I have a lot of time for. I love making maps. I've worked for Zeitgeist. Is that InWorld? Has their own Burning Wheel line. I did some maps for them and stuff. But if it's between tokens and maps, I always have to do tokens because that's what I'm getting paid for right now. Plus, there's a lot of great map makers out there, so I don't want to step on anybody's toes.
Yeah. Yeah. How about, do you have any advice for any aspiring token creators who are maybe just starting off? Or maybe just people in general who commission artwork within the RPG community?
That's tough. Don't make overhead tokens because you can't compete against me. My biggest thing is do your own thing. If you have a style that is yours, then stick with it and make that style popular. I see a lot of people start off and they try a bunch of different things and they're looking for something that's going to stick. But do your own thing and do enough of it. When I first started out, my first couple token packs were not popular, and it's only because I kept with it that eventually people are like, oh well, now I can use this character because there's all the kobolds, match the same style. And now I can use it. But, when you only have a couple packs, it seems like you're not going to go anywhere with it. But if you got something good and if you feel good about it, keep doing it to the point where somebody could come in and be like, oh, well, I can make my entire game look like this style because now you've covered a lot more of the things I need to make my game run.
When you started off with this, did you perceive that there was a time where you might be able to do it full time, or was that just a pipe dream originally and it was just a side project?
When I started, I was primarily just interested in making things for my own game. I never really thought it would be a business. I just thought it would be something that made my game better. And then a couple other people saw them and was like, hey, that's actually pretty decent. And I'm like, well, I could make more of them and stuff. And so at first it was never about making money, or it wasn't about a job. I mean, because I was employed full time when I first started. It was just about making my game a little bit visually more exciting for me. And it just grew from there, unexpectedly, really. Yeah.
If people want to get your tokens, what are the different sources? Where can they get them from, perhaps other than Roll20?
Right. Well, Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, and then my own personal token site. Those are about the three places. I don't get my stuff into their stores as quickly because it's a process to put the tokens in each store. They have to be sized differently and named differently, and that takes a long time. So those three are the big ones, and I think all three of those places allow you to download them and move them around to other places. So you don't need to buy them in Fantasy Grounds and then buy them in Roll20. You can buy them from one of those places or my own site and then use them in all of those places, or most of the other apps as well.
Mm-hmm. So your work's available on your website. Can you tell us the website and what else people can expect to see on that site?
Let's see. It's immortalknights.com/token site. We'll get you right to the token site. You can go to immortalknights.com, and that's where I show off a little bit of my illustration work, my logo design. But nobody ever goes there, really. It's almost always right off of the token site part. But yeah, I mean, I post there occasionally. Like I update my blog with what's going on. Typically, it's like what projects I'm working on or what my weekend was like. I'm not a great writer. I don't like talking about myself. But usually I like to update it, and mostly I just want people to know that I'm working and that I'm here, and I appreciate the fact that this is what I get to do most of my life, is making tokens.
And in terms of upcoming projects, you've mentioned about the Norse Gods pack that you're kind of working on at the minute. And there's also Patreon in the works. I'm not sure. Could you tell us a little bit about that at the minute?
That's a tricky one. I want to make a Patreon, but I don't. I want to make it because, again, like it's been suggested that I can have more interaction with my clientele and my patrons if I do that. Mm-hmm. What I really don't need is a reason to make more tokens. But the Patreon could be something where, I get like, more feedback, and people be like, hey, how about just a skeleton this week? And I'm just like, all right, and I can do a skeleton that week. And so maybe something with a faster turnaround, because right now turnaround for a custom token is like almost a month, 4 weeks. If I did the Patreon and a bunch of people said, hey, make a dragon, with 2 heads, I'd be like, okay, that'll be what I'll do this week. And then it might be like just a faster way to interact with patrons. But on the other side, it's just, does that take away too much time from what I'm already working on? And is it worth it? And so that's the big debate. It's like, do I focus on something specific, or do I just go generic and let the patrons decide what's going to be worked on this week? And, is 1 a week good enough? What do I charge? I'm not good at like shopping around my own skills to other people. I'm kind of I just want to work. I just want to sit down and draw. Great with social media, So that's the drawback. It's just, is it more work, and does it benefit me? And by benefit me, does it help me get in touch with my patrons and the people that, stuff like that, and feedback. So it may pop up. It may be, a couple months off still.
Okay. So. And at the minute, if people want to get a commission from you, or maybe they just want to leave comments or feedback, just get in contact with you in general, how best is it for them to do that?
The token site's probably the best. Mm-hmm. It's kind of tricky. The navigation at the top actually has a drop-down menu. You can order custom tokens from that specific drop-down, or you can just comment on any of my blog posts. Whenever I post something, just hop in there and yell at me. I like that.
And you've not too long ago, you've also joined Twitter. I know you're not too active on that, but I'm sure people could drop you a line on there as well, could they?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, Twitter would be good.
We'll
that's the one I have the hardest time replying to.
Oh well, maybe if enough people can do it, it could force you to, use that a bit more. That'd be good.
Yeah, I would hate to learn a new product.
Never hurts. Well, anyway, Devin, this has been a fantastic interview, incredibly interesting, and it's great to put a face to the tokens. Finally, the tokens I've been using. You're a very talented artist, and I look forward to more of your products and tokens in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ben. It's a pleasure.